We'll run the app world just so you can see what the system looks like. You can go through browsing, look at top 25 apps, pick categories as well. Let's go into the social feeds application. Right now I'm on the RSS feeds. You can fairly easily add new RSS feeds to the system just by entering a web URL and it'll find it. You can also do this from the browser. This is what it looks like in general. See if there are swipes. No swipes. You can swipe, however, from the RSS feeds to the social feeds. So this is showing all sorts of stuff. Right now I've got AIM status updates, Google Talk status updates, Facebook and Twitter. You can also have Blackberry Messenger, MySpace, you can see Windows Live and Yahoo's status updates as well. So you can filter on any particular one, say AIM, or go back to all items. So here you can see some Facebook updates, some Twitter updates. It launches it into the full Twitter application when you tap on a Twitter item, so you have full access to replying, retweeting, all that kind of stuff. You can see that the support in the Facebook application is a little less application-like. It really still feels like a web app. You can see I'm using the trackpad, and just the text buttons and stuff just doesn't look nearly as polished. And when you comment on something, let's see if I can. It has this strange thing that instead of saying who posted the comment, it says Facebook user. So if we go back in there and it loads the comments, that's the comment I just made, and it says Facebook user instead of saying me. But overall, and when you go back on Facebook's site, the comment does come across properly, so it works well for that. It just looks a little odd on this side. The integrated social feeds and everything is pretty nice. You can still, of course, use dedicated applications or something like Social Scope, but I'm pretty happy with this. Another feature on the phone that I've liked quite a bit is the calendar. You can pick a particular item here to jump to it directly. You can see this is the appointment. Although I just want to see the full calendar and show you what it looks like. Right now we're in a day view. You can switch to a nice week overview or month. My preferred mode, of course, is agenda. You can just see just what's going on for every day. It's a lot easier to work with. And this button over here will always take you to today, and then you can easily add a new appointment using the on-screen keyboards or, of course, the full QWERTY keyboard. You can see I've typed mobile burn into the universal search again, so it brings up bookmarks here. We're going to load the browser, the highly anticipated WebKit browser for Blackberry. You can see it's WebKit. It's got the rounded corners here. This is the mobile version of the Mobile Burn website, and it looks pretty good. Everything comes across quite nicely. Up at the top here, we have a button that gives you some quick access to functions, so you can add a bookmark, go to your history, and things like that. One thing I'm sad to report is you can no longer use keyboard shortcuts, it seems. Used to be able to hit G for go to or K for bookmarks, and that doesn't appear to work anymore. Not exactly sure why that would be. Support for multiple windows. We'll load a new window here and let's bring up the Mobile Burn site again, and then we'll launch the full version. So you can see what the WebKit browser is fully capable of. This, of course, going over a Wi-Fi connection. So here you have it. It's not quite done loading yet, but this is exactly what the page looks like on a desktop computer. I'm going to close the phone. I want to switch over to landscape mode just because it makes it a little bit easier to read. You can see everything came across quite nicely. You can double tap to intelligently zoom. The text rewraps. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't center properly. So while the text was wrapped to fit inside the width of the browser, it wasn't actually centered so you could read it. It does this all the time in my experience. So you're constantly having to move things around in order to be able to see them properly. Multi-touch zooming. Quite impressed with its rendering accuracy. Has proven at times to be a little bit slow in terms of loading the pages. You see the checker pattern a lot. You're not seeing that right now. There you go. It just seems like the device could still use more CPU. It's not, obviously not a Snapdragon 1 gigahertz processor or anything like that in the Torch. Doesn't show all the time, but when you get into complex pages like this, you start to notice it a bit. We'll load up one of our recent reviews. And there it goes. Again, rendered properly, but you can see it's a bit choppy when I'm trying to scroll around. It's having a tough time keeping up. Did a bit better job aligning it there. So overall, it's a much better browser than we've seen on Blackberry in the past. It's still not up to snuff compared to modern Android browsers, or the iPhone browser, or even probably the Palm Pre. And the lack of the keyboard shortcuts is probably going to disappoint a lot of people. If we go to the go-to screen, you can see that you can just start typing in things. And then switch the search provider too. So, for example, I can automatically search Wikipedia. So, a lot of useful functionality. It's just seems a bit slow still. I have come across a couple of bugs, deleting contacts. The screen doesn't update properly. You notice there's no home screen menu right now. Something's going on there. So it's not bug-free for sure, but in general it has worked pretty well for a brand new OS. So overall, while I've liked the device enough, and I definitely think it's the best BlackBerry out there, I haven't really been in love with it. Performance on the Torch just hasn't been solid the entire time. I do like the keyboard quite a bit. Most of the time it doesn't feel too top-heavy. Maybe it's a little difficult sitting in bed, but in general I think the keyboard feels very much like it does on the Bold 9700 series. Touchscreen has been accurate. We could hope for more resolution in the future. I'm sure we'll get that, but for now the little bit better than half VGA 3.2-inch display is more than adequate. It's a good looking device. Audio quality seemed okay, not the best we've heard. I have to make more test calls to be certain though. Biggest thing so far I guess has probably been battery life. This seems to be a phone that's going to make it at best a day and a half, probably only going to make it one full day between charges, unlike other BlackBerry devices which often seem to be able to go 2 full days. So price you pay for the large touchscreen, I suppose, and the fact that even though it's a very heavy device, it still only has a 1300 milliamp hour battery. Large battery admittedly, but not as large as some of the ones you're seeing in, like you say, like Galaxy S class devices or whatever, which are running 1500 milliamp hour batteries. That extra bit of juice could definitely help. So there you have it. That's my look at the new Blackberry Torch 9800 for AT&T. This is Michael Orrell from MobileBurn.com.